So even if your school had never celebrated the household, you must assume it happened in the school hostel at exactly 9 p.m. Our school hostel caught fire and it was raised down by fire. Before that time, there was a standing order that any time the school siren was on, we should leave whatever we were doing and assemble in the hall. All students, especially the boarders, had learned to abide by this simple instruction. And it was an offense to use whatever means to cook in the hostel. But two of our seniors, Yemi Adebaki and Tosi Adebowale, were in the habit of using boiling ring to cook rice in the hostel. On this fateful day, we just returned from the school to have a siesta. They sneaked to the town to buy 2 cups of rice, tomato, yeast, groundnut oil, man, and salt, and kept it in the hostel. After prayer, they came back to the hostel, and their usual manner, they started cooking using a boiling ring inside a bucket, a plastic bucket. Not quite long, we had a school siren, which was an indication that the principal wanted to see all others. We trooped out en masse, about 1,500 of us in the hostel, and we assembled. The 2 seniors who were cooking had even forgotten they were cooking. They left the boiling ring, the buckets, while connected to the means. And the principal came to address us. His phone rang, and he went to the corridor to be receiving the call. The call lasted almost 35 minutes, while we were waiting patiently for the principal to tell us why he called us. Before we knew it, we saw smoke gushing out of Blue Hostel, which was the name of the boys' hostel at that time. On seeing this, we rushed to the direction. Everything was out of control. But we still made attempts to use the water in the overhead tank to quench it, but to no avail. The principal and the housemasters called the fire service men only to tell us that they were on their way to the place they would get water. By the time the fire service men came, the whole building, a story building anyway, had got burnt, razed down. Thank God, no life was lost, but all personal belongings of students, including their important documents, houseware, uniform, books, got burnt. Provision. Even our housemaster's wife, who had a small shop beside the hostel, lost everything to the infamy. The cost of property lost alone, minus the building, was about 5 million, while the building itself cost about 35 million at that time. So we thank God, no lives were lost. The carelessness and disobedience of some students in the hostel caused the school such a great damage. Now, you were watching as I was narrating the story, right? It was like you are watching a movie.
Yes.
I never lived in the hostel before. No school hostel got burnt. So this is standard expected of you. Narrate in such a way that you say, at the end of my narration, you may not need any question to ask. Okay? If you want to say, did you make any attempts to quench it? I've given that in my narration. What caused the infamy? I've given out my narration. What was the estimate of the loss I've given you? That is giving an account of something. But when the question says, write a story to illustrate a saying, the first thing you must ensure is that you know the meaning of that saying. Otherwise, you write out of content. Don't be like somebody. I said, write a story to illustrate a saying. As you lay your bed, so you must lie on it. They said in their village, there was a woman who was very tall, very fat. Because she don't have enough money, she made that student-sized bed and kept it in her room. Anytime she wanted to sleep at night, only half of her buttocks would be on the bed with her head. The remaining half was dangling, and the remaining part of her legs would be dangling. Because she did not make a good bed for yourself. Next time you want to make a good bed, make a good bed. As she made her bed, so she was using it. The examiner were award 0. He didn't know the meaning of that. It simply means as you plan your life, so you live it. Some of you are here now learning, preparing for UTME, preparing for WIDE. Your colleagues are elsewhere now. Some gambling centers. Some where they are smoking and doing some other things that are inimical to their health and that are damaging to their future. That's the way they are planning their own lives. This is the way you are planning yours. So you must understand. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Write a story that illustrates the saying, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Do you know the meaning? If you don't know, choose another question. But if you know, you have to write a story. At the end of that story must have taught us that lesson, and that phrase or statement will be the last thing that you're going to write. It simply means it is not easy to be a head. There are so many challenges, so many responsibilities facing the head. All of you here will be abusing the governor. The governor is not doing well. The president is not doing well. This is not doing well. By the time you find yourself in that position, you will know how difficult it is to strike a balance among all the problems that will be confronting you. Even if you have not gone that far. Have you been a class captain before? Is anybody here a class captain, or who has been a class captain before? If you write names of noisemakers and the teacher beats them, you hate yourself for the rest of that day. And if you refuse to write their names, the teachers will say you are not responsible. You are a foolish student. I will remove you. So which one do you do now? You now find yourself between the devil and the sea, the Red Sea. So which one do you follow? So to be even at home, everything, maybe is daddy. Maybe is daddy. Even that your mouth that you refuse to brush, is daddy that caused it. Your uniform that you came and drum in front of the house without washing, is daddy. The water pipe that was disconnected due to lack of payment, is daddy. NEPA bill that was not paid and you were disconnected, is daddy. Soup that is not at home, is daddy. PTA fee that you have not paid, is daddy. So your mouth that you did not wash, is daddy. Everything is illegal. So this kind of statement is uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Every blame goes to you, and you must be a shock absorber. You absorb everything and see how it goes. That is narrative essay. In the narrative essay, it is important you arrange your points in a sequential order. You want to narrate the entire sport in your school. You don't write about the announcement of results before the opening ceremony. Are you getting me? start from the opening ceremony, then next, sequential order. You want to write on the wedding ceremony. Do you start from reception? Is reception the first stage? What's the first stage? What do you see? Oyun. I said first stage in the wedding ceremony. Someone say Oyun. They are not serious. What's the first stage? Introduction. You write what happened during the introduction. What next? Engagement. Right? Registry. Church. Like that. Or if it is registry on Thursday, no problem. On Friday, sorry, on Saturday, church. From church to registry. Or early in the morning, there was engagement. After engagement, they went to church. From church, they came back to the reception. After reception, where next? The groom's house. Abi? If you like, right behind that one. Tell us what you saw there. So, that is chronological order, sequential order of how it happened. I want to say bye-bye. They use past tense throughout. It happened at the time in the past. Any question on that one? No question. Descriptive essay. Some of you, when your friend says, oh, describe how I can get to your house. I don't know how to describe things. It could be a wire question. There was a wire question like that. Your friend living in another state is willing to spend the next weekend with you. Write a letter to him or her describing how to get to your house. Don't say when you get to Itoshi, just take a bike. Remember, you want to write 450 words. Taking a bike, because you have used bike to cover everything. Just get to a legal junction. Tell them you are going to Sugar Mosque. Just drop in front of a house. And you just write 2 lines, you'll be out of a word. No. Write from. Even if you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know Lagos. From wherever you are coming, alight at Kuto Muto Park. Just cross the road to the other side and take a taxi that is going to Pansheke. At Pansheke bus stop, you see some vehicles calling Adigbe, Alowonle, Saraki. Enter the one that is going to Alowonle. At the junction, where there is a turning to the left, you see a big board where it is written Egbejoda CTC Hall. You turn to the side. Just about 500 meters from the main road, you will see the big hall on your left hand side. Beside it are a set of shops. Directly opposite the shop, there is a story building with black gates. A story building, black gate, painted ash color. Just ring. Somebody will pick and come and open the gate for you. That is my house. Wow, is looking back there. You are looking for me. I've never been to this place I described to you before. I only teleguided you how you should describe in such a way that the person will not be asking, hey, please, where is it? Those of you from Adigbe, are you from, who's from Adigbe here? You know that place I've described. You are from Oluwo, inside Oluwo. Were you not the one who wrote Oluwo address yesterday? She's not here today. Where in Adigwe?
Yes.
Anyway, you can describe your house. Don't forget, I said you are going to write an essay today. We'll come back to that later. You can be asked to describe how to prepare your favorite meal. If you write Indomie and egg, you get 0. Because before you write half a page, you have prepared Indomie. What's special in Indomie and egg? It's special. You prolong it. You add carrot, add vegetables. And don't misinterpret the question. When you say how to prepare your local favorite meal, if you write fried rice, you get 0. That's not local meal. Local meal could be ofada rice, could be, well, no problem, amala, with vegetable soup, okra soup, ogbono soup, etc. etc. You can describe how to play a game. You know the game of Ayu? It's a traditional game. You can be asked to write on how to play it. Do you know how to play Ayu? No. Can you write an essay on a descriptive essay on it? Describing, you see, your description should be such that whoever has never done that thing before, who wants to do it, your description should be enough guide to teach the person how to play the game. For food, your description should be such that the person will go to the kitchen with it and prepare that meal, and achieving that same aroma, same quality that you will have prepared if you were the one preparing it. So you can know the standard expected of you. Don't say add salt, add palm oil, add salt, and the person just put a whole, add palm oil, and a whole bottle was poured into it. You say add palm oil, you did not measure the quantity. They must be mentioned in measurable terms. Do you know that if you eat fried rice at Sweet Sensation here, if you go to Lagos to eat fried rice, you have the same taste if it is from Sweet Sensation. You know the reason? They are using the same description, the same measurement to prepare their foods. If you go to Chicken Republic, if you buy their jollof rice, if you go to another Chicken Republic in Ibadan to buy it, eat it, you get the same taste. Because they are using the same measurement. You are science students, right? If you use the same measurement to prepare a solution, if it is done here, done in Maduguri, will you not get the same result? Or will be different? Well, if the chemicals involved are not adulterated. No, tell me, I want to be sure. Won't you get the same results? Why is Pepsi prepared in Lagos having the same taste with the one prepared in Maduguri? They're using measurements. So, your description of how to prepare food should be a measurable standard. That is descriptive essay. They can say your father just bought a new car. It can come in form of letter writing. Write a letter to your sister who is still in school, describing your father's newly bought car, describing your father's newly built duplex. All these are past why questions. All right? So, expository essay. In an expository essay, you explain, you describe, and you give details on the topic. If I say, write an article for publication in a national newspaper on the causes of electoral malpractices in Nigeria, You know what about electoral malpractices? What's the meaning? What's your name for NGS? Akoyemi. What do you understand by electoral malpractices? In fact, that's the topic we are writing on this afternoon. Causes of electoral malpractice in Nigeria. So you don't know what they call rigging during election? Vote buying. Eh? All stealing of ballot papers. You know all these things. You grew into it. These are acts called electoral malpractice. But you know examiner malpractices. You know that one. Acts such as going to the exam hall with loaded pocket. Giraffing. Good. Exchanging of question paper after you have jotted points down. Writing on the ceiling. Yes, we do that. Lab. And so many other things. In fact, talking in an exam hall is also an examiner malpractice. You don't talk in the exam hall. You face your work. If you smuggle a phone inside, in fact, you have finished that exam. So, using phone, using chats to do it. That's what I've used to write essays to solve problems. So, if you're able to smuggle the phone inside the exam hall, just snap that summary passage and send it to PPT to summarize for you. But do you think the examiners are foolish? So, did you know, I'm aware of that application, you never knew. You thought I'm old, too old to understand all those things. All those who marking your examination, they also know all those antics of yours. They will know. So the best thing is to use your brain. You can use these applications for your home work, assignment, and other things. But to smuggle the phone into the exam hall, using that method to solve the problems, you're not helping yourself. So, in an expository essay, when you are writing on the causes of the problem, for example, causes of road traffic accident, even if the examiner did not say solution, there shouldn't be causes without a solution. So it is expected that you will suggest solutions to the problems. Basically, we have causes of road accident to include one, the road itself will cause an accident. The vehicle will cause an accident. The driver will be the cause. Government policy will also be the cause. And the agencies in charge of road safety can be the cause. You now begin to explain one by one. I said road can cause it. Roads that are not properly constructed, no road signs. You know what we call road signs? Dangerous bend, ahead, slow down. All those things are not there. Pedestrian crossing, slow down. In standard roads in developed countries, you will see all these and you abide by them, accidents are minimal. In the middle of the road, express road, you see not even a pothole, a well. That is Nigeria for you. In the process of trying to dodge it, the driver swerves and goes to the ditch. Consider standard roads where you can go at 120 kilometers for 1 hour, non-stop. I don't know of any road like that in Nigeria. where you can go at 100, 120 for 1 hour non-stop. Which route? I went out to Lagos. Abuja. Where in Abuja? At 120 or 100 kilometers. Or road to Abuja. I didn't say you cannot go at 100 though. To maintain that constant speed of 120 for 1 hour non-stop in Nigeria. No bomb, no police checkpoint. So, these are the causes of road accident. The road itself. You see, when a major road is narrowing ahead, there is supposed to be a sign so that those vehicles going at a speed will slow down before getting there. Okay. I said the vehicle itself can be a problem. A poorly maintained vehicle is prone to accidents. On Nigerian roads, you will see vehicles of 50 years old. Yes, 45 years old, 40 years old. Are you telling me in Abeokuta here, you will not see Podio 5-horse saloon cars bought in 1985? All those tippers, Austin tippers, that are still carrying sand on a major road, when do you think they were bought? Even the company that produced those vehicles, they are no longer existing for the past 40 years. Google Austin company. And those vehicles are still moving on Nigerian roads. Why will accident not be imminent? Brake failure. As you have been going along the urban cities here, haven't you seen taxis that are navigating to the right and they are going to the left? Haven't you seen that before? Haven't you seen at night a vehicle that is coming, only one headlamp is on and it is an Okada? You haven't seen one before? These are the causes of accidents. About 10 years ago, along this Leme road, an Okada rider thought it was a fellow Okada that was coming on the front and just planned to bypass a bit. Little did he know that he was in the middle of a trailer. Because the headlamp of that vehicle, only one side was on. So, in those days, a truck, a big vehicles like that, there will be a lamp on top that you know that this is a heavy truck that is coming and stay away. So the vehicle is not properly maintained. What will you say about a vehicle that caught fire on the top speed? What will you say about a vehicle that is a vehicle that all the 4 tires are Tokumbo tires, expired tires, and the driver is going at 140, 130. When there is a burst, only God can save in that situation. No trafficators, no real lights, nothing. So that's about the vehicle. The driver himself, who is drunk, a drunk driver will cause an accident. A driver who is driving recklessly, overspeeding, dangerous overtaking, he doesn't know where to go overtake. Bend is going, hill is going, anywhere is going. So that's the driver. A driver who engages in the discussion with somebody in the vehicle while driving, accident is imminent. Somebody who has his girlfriend beside him, and they're in that romantic situation and driving at 120 kilometers per hour. What's going to happen? Somebody who just left a party, having drunk 12 bottles of beer, is in Lagos. He's coming back to Abeokuta. This one is not a story. It happened to somebody I knew very well. He went to Lagos, attended a party, heavily drunk. He came to Abeokuta. On getting to his house, at the gate was shut. His wife and children were inside. Instead of knocking, he thought he forgot his key at Lagos. He went back. He drove back to Lagos. Because when they saw him back in Lagos around 1 a.m., he said he forgot his key. Forgot your wife should be at home, your children should be at home. He said, now up to today, he said he did not know the road he even followed to Abeokuta, whether he came through the express road or the old road. You can see how people can risk their lives. And continue on and on like that. So accidents are caused by those people. Therefore, government policies. You see some of these revenue collectors, what they do on the road, Okada people, just jump to the front of a moving vehicle in an attempt to catch an Okada rider. And the vehicle was coming from behind. So, because of that policy, many accidents happened. Some of these Okada passengers had fallen on several occasions in that process. Then government agencies. Several times the law had been made and passed that any truck carrying container without using belts or chain to chain that container should be arrested or apprehended. You had the law. Every day you hear about a container falling and killing people inside vehicles. Those who are supposed to enforce that law, where are they? Where are they? Nowhere. They're not doing anything. When you see these people at roadblocks, you know them, brown clothes. And, instead of catching people who are going at a tremendous speed, those who have violated traffic rules, who are they chasing? Along Ijebu axis, I traveled last week to Ijebu. I didn't go in my car. They still carry 2 passengers in the front of a bus. If you have not tasted hell before, if you travel 2 passengers in the front to Ijebu, you will see hell before you get down. They passed through many roadblocks. Nobody stopped them. Many road safety corps saw them, did not stop them. And you know why they were not stopped? You don't know. You don't know why they were not stopped? Yeah? Maybe they didn't see them. This is Nigeria. So, road accidents. Now, this holistic view, all this description, all these explanations, you can see the different causes of road traffic. So, how can we stop or minimize the rate of road traffic accidents? You've heard about petrol tankers falling and fuel splitting and the people trying to get fuel and they're dying. I heard from somebody reliably that modern trucks, modern tankers, that the way they built them, even if the tank should fall, that no single oil or fuel will come out of it. Why are we not buying that one in Nigeria? Why are we still using the old century tanker that even without falling safe? This is highly inflammable material. In developed nations, I heard that even when they fall, no split. Nothing come out of it until they come to upturn it again and take it away. This Nigeria is our country. We continue to live in it like that. It's getting better every day. Nigeria is getting better. You can see that the price of fuel is coming down. It's coming down from about 1,000 to 870 now. Before next week, 500. Rice is no longer going to 85,000 per bag. It's about 60, 65. The president is trying. The governor is trying.
Yes. Amen.
People who run away will run back. When Nigeria is better, no place like home. So you don't know. There is no, truly speaking now, there is no place like home. If you're in the city of US and the white boy spit on your face, you dare not do your own. You can try that with you here. They are racist now. If they discriminate against you, you are working in the same place. She's a citizen, you are not a citizen. In fact, your schedule of duty is tougher than her own. She's receiving faster salary than your own. And you cannot complain. In Nigeria, who can treat you like that? There, your landlord decided to slap you. The white man, just walk away. If your landlord should slap you here, slap your own back. Here, imagine. But if you try to slap back there, you are in jail. So no place like that. The best thing is for Nigeria to be better, so that we can be here. Stable electricity, good road, no more inflation, there are job opportunities, you can sleep, you can wake up, everything is at your disposal. What's the problem? Why will you go and be in sleep in somebody else's country? What will you big way mama TNB? Big way mama alone. No place like home, please. Get that in your mind. Bye-bye to that. Argumentative essays. I've watched many debates by students. Some, I don't know whether the use of substances before they appear on the stage, as restless as they will become. Abraham Lincoln once said, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And he said, after all this narration, he said, but before I proceed, let me say good day, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, timekeeper, co-debater, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adesari Adibadi. I'm representing the Baela of University. And you see this child coming restless. Some, because they even learned that thing by heart, over so many. Once one of the lines gets missed, that's the end of the story. You now be battling with how to recollect the lost line. You don't need to do that. You only need to understand what you want to say. Understand the topic very well. And know the technique of arguing. When I was teaching you, I told you, in an argumentative essay, you want to argue for or against a motion. You want to tell me that this pen is better than this one. You don't just keep this one and begin to say, this pen is better because it is blue. This pen is better because it is ballpoint. This pen is better because it is writing fast. This pen is better because it is permanent. This pen is better because it is cheap. This pen is better because you're only telling us the features of this pen. You are not arguing. An argument is such that you present the two. This pen is better because it is ball points, whereas this one is needle point. This pen is better because when used to write on the paper, it is permanent. But this one, when used to write on paper, ordinary water may make it to smear on that paper. This pen is better because it's cheaper. With 50 naira, you buy this pen. This one goes for 200 naira. As students, you don't need expensive pens because you need to write a lot of things. This pen is better because it lasts longer than this one. My opponents may want to say that this pen is for decorative purposes. It is a fancy pen. But ladies and gentlemen, what are we doing with fancy in these days of economic situation in Nigeria? We need something that will last longer and that will serve you better. So away with that particular one, what are we doing with it? Ladies and gentlemen, when next you want to buy a pen, buy a big pen and not fancy decor roller pen. Thank you. You can see. And your opponent will now stand up to say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I don't go for cheap things. My opponent has been telling you that this pen lasts longer, this pen doesn't. How often do you find this in big offices being used to write? It's for the commoners. Even among students of better environment, they no longer use this. They go for something that is roller pen. It enhances good handwriting when you write on the paper with this one. This one is as faint as anything. And ladies and gentlemen, how many buyers of this pen can claim to use from the beginning to the end without fading off? The remaining ink will become useless. Whereas when you buy this one, from day one till the ink is exhausted, you continue to enjoy your money. My opponent is saying this one is just for decorative purposes. Who say decoration is not good? When you are well dressed and have a fancy pen that you can use to prove your worth, why not display it in your pocket? Tell me the caliber of people that use this one in their pockets. Why are you wasting your money on this instead of buying better things for better writing? And better writing will attract better examiners, which will consequently attract big marks. Thank you. So that's how to balance the argument that when the first person argued, you say, that's the one I will buy. By the time you also come to the stage, so when they give you such topic, don't say to argue against is dry. There's no sign that it's dry. You only need to think. Perhaps the one you said is dry may be more productive than the first one. You only need to sit down. Think of your point. Look for point to knock out zone. Look for point to support your own. Strike a balance, then conclude. Your conclusion is important in an argumentative essay. After striking a balance, after using your points to override zone. Topics like genetically modified food are dangerous to the body. Do you agree or not? Genetically modified food are dangerous to the body. Argue for against, but you first must know the meaning of genetically modified food. Do you know the meaning? You know the meaning? Are those food dangerous? Banana, for example, plantain and others. Have you seen them before? When you see banana that is in between plantain and banana, bigger than banana, not up to plantain, so you can hardly see whether it is even plantain or banana. So in between, they have modified the genetics of that particular food before. You see some pawpaw. I planted one some years ago. If we bring down one, 10 people cannot finish it in the house. Very big, as big as a pot. The question now is, those foods, are they dangerous to the body? Why? Then you quote sources, authorities in your arguments. You don't just sit down That's when you are going for a competition. In the case of an exam, in the exam hall there, think of points that you will advance. Argue for or against. Don't confuse yourself and be supporting two sides. It's like you are giving 4 advantages of that thing, or 5 advantages, and even one's advantage that your opponent tries to mention, you nullify it. That's how to argue. Is that clear? Then I also taught you speech writing. That is speech. It's an address written to be delivered on an occasion. I give you series examples of that. Fine. And as to what examiner is looking for in essays and letters, I taught you contents, 10 marks, organization, 10 marks, expression, 20 marks, mechanical accuracy, 10 marks. Other contents, number of words, number of points, relevance of your points, aspect of the question touched. I told you when a question has aspects, endeavor to touch all the aspects. Then, if you have to write an essay, hope you do not end up writing a letter. Write an article for publication. You are writing your address, the address of the editor. Instead of an article, you are writing a letter. The examiner will mark that kind down. Organization, arrangement of your points, sentence structure. If you are writing the address, the title, the introduction, how have you done that appropriately? These are the things the examiner is looking for. Expression. How are you able to express yourself in simple and correct English? It is not when you write jaw-breaking words that you get A1. I am complimenting with happiness. Addition of love, subtraction of sorrow, and multiplication of head. I think everything is going on systematically. If so, doxology. Thinking that that's where A1 will come from. I want to write to you about the situation in our house today, which I can refer to as anti-disestablishmentarianism. Because of A1. The examiner will just be underlining all these things because they are not relevant. Even if they have meanings, the usage there will not be appropriate. So don't get involved in that. At the end of the day, the examiner is ringing all ringable errors. If you don't know the spelling of a particular word, don't use it. Use the spelling of, use the one you know the spelling very well. Wrong division of words at the margin is a ringable error. Non-use of capital letters or wrong use of it. Non-use of it or wrong use of it is punishable, minus R. Irregular division of words at the margin. When you want to divide a word at the margin, you must break it according to syllable and you must put an item. How are you and your studies? Question mark, not a full stop. I hope you are doing well in your studies. That one is a full stop, not a question mark. Not a question mark. I hope, I suppose, all these ones are full stops. Remember, every sentence begins with a capital letter. And every sentence must end with a full stop. All proper nouns must begin with a capital letter. All these are rules that you must remember when you are writing in the exam. This way students lose mark. Minus half, minus half, minus half. By the time you have minus half in 20 places, that's minus 10. And the mark for mechanical accuracy is 10 marks. 10 minus 10. Suppose you're able to limit your errors to just 8. That's minus 8. Minus half in 8 places, sorry, is minus 4. So the examiner will just say, okay, 10 minus 4. 6. You can score 6 marks there. You have not seen one before, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. I know all the essays you have been writing your letters for your teachers or your lesson teachers. What have you been scoring under mechanical accuracy? 0. You can improve on it by reading over and correcting the errors before you submit your scripts. That's the solution. When you read over and correct the errors, you will minimize the penalties and your marks under mechanical accuracy will shoot up. God will help you. Now, write this. As I told you, I'll give you one like that today, and I'll quickly mark it holistically before leaving. Write a letter to the chairman Egba Science Education Foundation, expressing your appreciation for being a beneficiary of the program, expressing your appreciation for being a beneficiary. Which being did you write there? B-E-N-E. B-E-I-G. For being a beneficiary of the popular program. And telling him your observations during the program. During the program. 2. Write a story to illustrate the saying. Write a story to illustrate the saying. A stitch in time saves 9. A stitch in time saves 9. Yes. So you are forcing us to do the first one. A stitch in time saves 9. Pick one. Quickly. 450 words. 450 words. Give it yes. Stop writing. 1. Come and submit. Pass to the edge. Whoever is ready to submit, no problem. Count 5. 1. So don't bother to submit again. Don't bother.